Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I have a very special guest with me, Daunte Baccus, who's well known as the YouTuber Reactitup, and Daunte made some significant amount of money in the last crypto bull run, and we're going to talk a lot about it. Daunte, it's great to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I love, like, whenever I'm on YouTube, I watch crypto-based YouTube channels all the time, and so I think it is nice, especially during these weird times, to be coming up with creative ideas to get more content out there. So glad to be here.
I'm itching to talk to you about, how you got into crypto and how you made your millions in the last bull run. But before we get there, I would love to learn more about you and have the audience learn more about you. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And what do you currently do as a profession? Are you a full-time YouTuber, or are you doing other items?
Yeah, let's get into that, because I haven't opened up about a lot of these things on YouTube, but about me, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I wasn't raised there, so I was born in a military family.
Wow.
Meaning I moved around every like two to 3 years, which I know some may not like that, but I loved it because every 2 years I got to meet new people, and then my actual true friends, like my best friends, I still talk to them today. I just carried those over as I moved around, and we're still friends till today. It's always like two to three each state that I live. So it was a unique experience, just got me exposed. So yeah, I was born in Cleveland, raised in a military family, went to high school in San Antonio, and ended up going to Baylor on a full ride scholarship for academic
Nice.
purposes. And yeah, I studied computer engineering, and I recently graduated in May 2019. So it's been a little more than a year now since I graduated, which was definitely an exciting moment, just because I worked so hard for that degree.
Awesome. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Wow. Okay. And once again, going back to the context of becoming a millionaire at a very early age. Very cool. So tell us about your YouTube channel. Why did you decide to start it, and what is it about?
Yeah, so I like, I think one problem that I have on YouTube is I normally show like show me being successful, but I'm not always successful in things. And that's one thing that I want to start highlighting a little bit more, because you're not always going to succeed the first time you try something. But in terms of YouTube, I tried 3 times before one of them actually took off. So I started a YouTube channel just with my name in high school, where I made like skits, music videos, and little things like that, which was great for my friends to watch, but it didn't go anywhere, and I got discouraged and I quit. Um, and then I know we'll get into this later, but when I started college, I got fired from my job. I was working at Best Buy, and I had to think about, and I had put a lot of money into Bitcoin, and I didn't want to take any money out of that, out of Coinbase. I didn't want to sell any of my coins. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I start a tech YouTube channel and start producing income that way? Because yeah, I'm in school on a full ride scholarship, but I also needed, money for monthly expenses, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'll start a tech YouTube channel, and I started doing that, just reviewing different technology. It's called Tech It Up, so that channel's still out there if you all want to go watch that old content. But then again, it didn't. I started making a little bit of money, like a couple hundred a month, and I kind of got discouraged, just because I was seeing all these different channels blow up, and
Sure.
I quit again. So that Tech It Up channel went until like 2016, and so I quit. And then around 2017, I said, you know what? Let me try this again. So I created Reactitup, and I just honestly just started uploading whatever I wanted, whatever was on my mind, and just use my creative mindset to just create whatever I thought would be funny and entertaining. And that ended up working. Of course, it wasn't successful at first, but within the first year, I was able to take that channel to 100K and
Wow.
then move on.
Wow. So a couple of takeaways there is that you didn't give up. There was failures along the way. You used those as stepping stones, and then you finally hit the the success, and you found it with a channel where you were kind of just being yourself. And wow, 100K within 1 year. That's pretty amazing. And right now you have over 300,000 subscribers. So what was it like growing from 100 to the over 300?
I think uh, I think the more subscribers you get, the more subscribers like the more subscribers you get, the faster you grow subscriber
Sure.
wise. But it was definitely it was really weird just because I think this goes for a lot of especially younger audience. Being a YouTuber is like always like a dream job, you know. It's like, oh, I could be a YouTuber one day. So it was honestly humbling and unreal to see. I mean, honestly, even when I hit 10K, it was 10K, 10,000 subscribers. It was crazy. And hitting 100K and then eventually going to 300K. It honestly just, I'm still in disbelief. Like I have my 100K plaque like sitting right here
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like something that I love. I look at this thing not every day, but almost every day, just because it was something that I worked so hard for and it's something that I dreamed about since I was a little kid. So it was nice to accomplish it and just see that other side of how to diversify your income and that good stuff.
I'm my eyes are on that plaque because I want to get one of those for my channel.
Yeah, no, you're at what 40K right now, right?
Yeah, I'm like 41K or so. Hopefully close to
Yeah,
42. Yeah.
no, you'll get it soon. Just keep producing content. That's what I tell people. Just be consistent, and when you get it, it's honestly it's like the best feeling ever. It's the simple things. I don't know.
Sure, because you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, right? A lot of your time into it, and to your point, you have to be creative and think outside the box sometimes, and to try to grow your subscribers and get people's attention. And when you hit that mark, it's like, wow, okay, all that hard work paid off.
Exactly.
What advice, and you hinted to some of it right now, someone who's looking to start a channel today, and it's certainly you need to talk about the topic and the industries, but in general, any things you want to share with folks that could help them?
Advice in terms of starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think one being consistent. So for me, I upload it every day,
Mm,
right? I'm not saying that somebody needs to upload every day, but that was my schedule that I set for myself. So that's where I get the consistent basis from. If you want to, grow on YouTube, I think you need to be I know you need to be consistent. That's just how the algorithm works. So if you're going to
sure.
upload every Wednesday at 2 p.m., you need to make sure you have a video up every Wednesday at 2 p.m. plus more if you can. So that's where I think a lot of people lack is they fall off. And I've been a victim of this. I've definitely fell off a bunch. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm super polished, but I've noticed the most success and I've seen the most success out of other people and other big YouTubers that I know when they're consistent. And that's one of my biggest advice. And also, and I'm actually glad YouTube did this, is they set those restrictions where you have to have 4,000 watch hours and then the 1,000 subscribers before you can
Sure.
monetize. I'm glad they did that because a lot of people were hopping on just thinking, okay, I could just start this YouTube thing and figure out a fast way to get a quick buck, which I don't think you should come into it thinking, I want to make the most amount of money. I want to live this flashy life like these other YouTubers. If that's the reason you're making YouTube videos, that's not the type of content I personally want to see. And a lot of people are going to realize that. And I think that's where a lot of people are flawed. You see a lot of people starting YouTube channels now because they see YouTubers doing well in life, and that's the only aspect that they're going off of, and that's just I think flawed in a variety of different ways.
Sure, sure. I think you make a great point there. It's not just hopping on YouTube, creating a channel. You have to put together a plan. You have to think about the topic. You got to put the dedication, the consistency, as you mentioned. Great advice. So I'm not going to ask for a number, but is your channel generating a significant amount of income for you where maybe you do this full time? I know you obviously just finished school and you may be looking to start a career or whatever it may be, but is it like something that helps with your living and you can live comfortably because you have that source of income coming in?
Yeah, I'm super transparent about stuff like this. So I started becoming profitable on I started actually making a good amount of money on YouTube late 2017. So around the same time I sold a lot of around the same time I sold Bitcoin. But I think around November of 2017, I started making about 3 to 4K ish a month. And then in December, that's when ad revenue was high. That's when my YouTube channel literally took off. And that's when I was telling you that I like spiked all the way up to 100K. I made like 30K in that month, which was
Wow.
insane. That was my highest month.
Wow.
I haven't had a month that high again.
In just ad
But
revenue?
yeah, and just ad revenue
Wow.
of this for December, the month of December. Um, so it was unreal. And then, I mean, after that, I just kept growing, and I was, making around 5 to 10K a month, which is which was really good, especially since wasn't really paying for anything
Yeah. Yeah.
back in Waco, which is where I went to school at Baylor. My rent there was like $600, and because I shared a house with roommates. But in terms of what I do for, my what I do financially now. So throughout college, not only was I making money through YouTube and investing, I did an internship every year.
Mm.
So every summer I had an internship at this tech company called Splunk, where I made a good amount of money. Just to be transparent, I was making about $40 an hour as an intern at this tech company. In Texas, that's really good.
Wow. Yeah.
So I didn't even spend any of that money. That was all money that I was just saving away. And then I was also fixing phones during college. I did that all the way up until like my junior year, which was a great business just because there was like
Yeah.
a cell phone repair shop like right across the street from my college. So I would like always charge like $20 or $30 less than them. And so students would just come to me. It was just like word of mouth. So I was making a lot of money that way too. And then when my YouTube channel started to take off more, my junior year, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to focus more on this. And that's when I stopped that.
Sure.
So I've always had a variety of different ways to make money. And then now that I'm outside of college, those internships actually got me I got a full-time job with them, which is nice because I'm making that salary, but that salary I'm not even spending right now because I've saved up so much of my YouTube money I made from investments, and I'm living off of that. And then the salary that I'm making now, I'm putting into savings. And then like when you work at these big tech companies, you get, obviously sometimes, especially if it's a public company, you may get equity. So I got what you call RSUs, restricted stock units. So over the next 4 years, I have a really good amount of stock that's going to vest that I'm going to hold on. I max out my IRA, I max out my 401k. And so I'm just creating a nice reserve for myself.
That's awesome, man. I hope the folks listening understand what you've been doing, because you definitely been hustling even through college, doing fixing phones, obviously doing a lot of things, and you got multiple income streams, which is great because that's a great way to grow your wealth, right? Grow your value. So that's awesome. That's the same approach I take, with my YouTube channel and podcast, and have my day job, and got my affiliate sites and all of that. So I love it. I love the hustle.
Yep.
Let's talk about Bitcoin. How did you first learn about Bitcoin and crypto? Like, did someone tell you about it? Did you see a video?
Yeah, I think we'll go back in time. So 2015 is the year I graduated from high school. And in 2015, I turned 18 and I got into investing, right? I got into investing in stocks, and I was making, my first investments, I was making a profit of like $30 in a day. It was nice. It was insane. I said, oh, wow, I made this much money just off in a day, just without actually doing anything. So that's when my mind changed. Like, oh, I should really learn more about investing. Because before I was just blindly doing it. It was more so like, oh, I got like $300. I'm just throwing into this stock, right? Just like penny stocks and all types of things. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I did that. And when I actually made a little bit of money, like I said, I got a little more I started thinking about it more and doing more research. And I was talking to my dad, and he was somebody that was looking into Bitcoin, but obviously because he's an adult and he has kids and a mom and all these things, it was he was really interested in Bitcoin, but it was more of like, I don't know if I can just risk the money that we have saved up because we need this, right?
Sure.
But he told me, you know what, you're young, we provide everything for you. You've been working since you were 16 and you have all this money saved up. Because the way my parents were is, I come from a middle class family, by the way. The way my parents were is they were willing to help out with things. Like they got my first car. They made me pay the down payment for it, but they paid everything else for my first car, which was a Camry. And like just school supplies, clothes, all that. They were willing to pay for wants and needs as long as I was willing to work and actually make the money so I could understand the value of money. So I didn't actually have to spend my money, but they wanted me to work and make money. So he told me at 16, he told me at 18, you've been working since 16, you have all this money saved up. You should look into Bitcoin or something to put your money away in, because you really don't need it when you go to college. You should try to make your money work for yourself. And that's when I got interested in, I put, that's when I was working at Best Buy. That's when I was fixing phones then too, but not at the scale as I was in college. And I bought 70 Bitcoin around I got some a little below 300, and then I bought a little bit more, a little above 300. But total, I had about 70 Bitcoin and spent a little over $20,000, which was like honestly almost all of my money that I had saved up since I was 16. But as you see, it was definitely worth it. I've sold a little bit on the way.
Sure.
Like I think I got rid of about 10 of my Bitcoin over the before the big 2017 spike. But in 2017, I sold 60.
Wow. So I have to ask, when Bitcoin's price started going up, what were the emotions and feelings and were you like constantly refreshing your Coinbase account? And then what was that feeling like when you crossed over $1 million in your portfolio as far as cash value?
Honestly, this is a funny story because I should not have made the amount of money that I made. But here's what happened. So I don't know if you remember, but around this time, everybody said Bitcoin's gonna hit 10K and it's gonna burst. It's a bubble. Like everything's just gonna go down to zero. That's what everybody was saying. 10K was the magical number, and that's what I had in my head. 10K. I think it hit 10K in November and then just like dropped down like super fast. And then I could be wrong on this aspect. I'm not sure. We would have to double check. But then in December, it went back to 10K, and that's in my mind. I'm like, all right, I'm selling at least half. I'm getting rid of half or more, right? Just because I was up so much already. But then I got locked out of my Coinbase account.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
So when I got locked out of my Coinbase account, you gotta like verify and all this stuff, and that takes 3 or 5 business days.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I'm panicking. I'm like, holy crap! Like, dude, what if this thing's bust? Like while I'm trying to verify my account, I'm gonna like go crazy. But it did the opposite. It went all the way up to 17K, and that's where you get my iconic video from. That's everywhere on the media showing my Coinbase account, because I had just got my account back, and I said, "Wow!" Like, and then that's when I showed it.
Man, I would have been having a heart attack. I'd been sweating bullets. Like, I need to get in my account.
So right away, I think that's back when they had GDAX.
Oh yeah,
it was called GDAX. So I wanted GDAX, got a limit. So
wow. So when you finally got into it, you're like, wow, I'm a millionaire. Were you like in disbelief? Did you tell your dad and your parents, and were they like, oh, get out of here, you're lying? Did they believe you?
So I want to say, this is sad, but I think I don't want to say my parents didn't believe me, but they found out through YouTube. Like the only reason they knew is because I put that video up on YouTube, and it was more like, wait, because you know how YouTube is.
Yeah.
It used to be some questionable content out there, but they know that I'm not that type of person too. So it was more so like, what's going on? Like, I just got the questions, and I didn't just strictly say, yeah, I'm a millionaire or anything like that. It was just like my Bitcoin took off and I sold it because I think I celebrated that and then also hitting 100K in the same video. And
Wow.
and then buying my car at that when I bought my car because I bought my car after I sold. I bought my car like 5 days after. And yeah, so they kind of believed me, but they really weren't. You could tell they weren't. They were kind of just skeptical about it. But I don't think they started believing me until like life progressed, and I just started like my car came. Looking at houses, and my life changed a lot.
Sure.
And that's when I think that's when they started connecting the dots. My dad, now he says, "See, I told you." But it's definitely been a great experience.
And I can see that. Like, I can imagine if I was in your shoes, and my parents would probably be like, "Are you sure?" Because back then in 2017, it was kind of like people are still learning about it. It wasn't like now
Yeah,
where, okay, it's more validated as an asset class, right? Back then it was like, is this for real? What is it? Magic internet money, right? There's still that skepticism, more
yeah.
skepticism. Yeah.
And then oh yeah, that's another good point. I think even though the title said I made $1 million from Bitcoin or all the whatever the title said, it was still, I think, to them it was more of like, oh, he made $1 million in Bitcoin. But what does that actually mean? They didn't think that translated to US dollars. They I think they thought like Bitcoin was more like a monopoly or something.
Sure.
So I think that was a big part of it too.
So, were you only holding Bitcoin back then, or did you have, let's say, Litecoin or XRP and other stuff that you made money off of?
I had Ethereum.
Nice.
I sold a little bit of that. Um, and we'll talk about what I have now too, and what I think is next up. But I I actually fell into the hype train and got into XRP at like $2,
Oh,
and obviously that tanked in like January or February. Lost a crap ton of money. Uh, but yeah, I did make some money off Ethereum. I held some Ethereum and I sold that a little bit after my Bitcoin, but it wasn't a crazy amount or anything like that. And then I also bought in at a high price, so my profit margin was very little. But that's what I sold. That's the only two currencies that I sold in 27 that I sold late 2017. And then I started. I think after that is when I started uh, getting a little more risky in 2018.
yeah. I think we all kind of fell for the trap, even myself, because I think many folks, at that moment when you have the euphoria of the run up, right? You forget, hey, there's a bear market coming. But I think now that we've, and probably both of us, like gone through those cycles, you're like, okay, get it. There's bull, bear, and accumulation phases, and I learned my lesson with that too. Like I cashed out some, but I didn't cash out as much because I thought, oh, it's gonna keep going, right? um,
Yeah, no, it can burn you, man.
yeah,
And that's one of my biggest advice for investing in crypto. If you're gonna invest that money, you need to be willing to put it away and okay with you not having access to it for possibly a couple years.
yeah,
It that's you just have to be okay with that.
for
Because if
sure.
you're not, it's gonna eat you alive. And I know personally because I've been in that situation. Now I don't care. And then we'll talk about everything that happened. I'll tell you about what happened to my portfolio and during this Corona stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got hit pretty bad, but everything's good now.
So the question a lot of people want to know, because they want to know what to anticipate and what they will have to do when we go through the next bull cycle, right? How did you cash out? Did you cash out all at once? What was the process of transferring the money to the bank? Did your bank throw up red flags? Because we know back then you had Jamie Dimon calling Bitcoin a fraud. You had some of the banks who were trying to prevent people from buying crypto. So can you talk us and walk us through that? How did you cash out? What was your plan?
Yeah, so that was difficult for me personally, just because I don't come from a family with money. So when it comes to, my parents are military, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same old, it's just a process that they follow, same thing, right? And so I didn't have like a mentor or like somebody to help me not manage my money, but tell me what to do with my money. when it comes to tax purposes, where to put it. I've kind of learned the hard way throughout the years. So like I didn't like even earning money on YouTube. I didn't know how to go about filing that. I didn't know all these things. So it was pretty hard. But what I did do is I did get a CPA. And if you are selling crypto this year or in the nearby future, I definitely recommend getting a CPA that has experience with crypto. By the way, mine didn't have too much experience with crypto, but they did their research. But that's fair. That's a fair point because I didn't judge them for it because in 2017, that's when the government started regulating everything a little bit more, just because of how mainstream it went.
Sure.
And yeah, so thinking about how I cashed out is obviously I had my CPA, but I cashed out through Coinbase. I didn't get any red flags. I actually just transferred the money. And then there's like when I did taxes the next year in 2018, early 2018, my CPA made me like put all of my trade. We put all my trades in like this IRS form. It's like 8949, I think, or something like that. And there's some other things you got to do, and on it, and then just pay taxes on it. Taxes were crazy. I paid long-term gains on that, but then I had to pay short-term gains on my Ethereum sale.
Well,
I basically after everything, I paid a little over 300K in taxes.
so just to calculate the numbers, you made about 1.2 million, and you transferred 1.2 million to your bank, and then for taxes you paid about 300K. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I paid about. So I think the Bitcoin alone wasn't 1.2 million. With
Okay.
Ethereum and everything is why I had the 1.2 something million in there. But Bitcoin alone was actually like 1.1.
Hmm.
But I paid long-term gains on that,
Got it.
uh, capital gains on that. So yeah, but after paying taxes and everything, I paid about 300, I think 314, 15K in taxes. But that's also including my YouTube money.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, because I know I'm not sure how the capital gains tax varies by states. I know Texas is less, stringent on taxes as New York, where I'm at. So that's a good point. That you got to be prepared for the long term versus short term, and the short term may be pretty high, right?
Yeah, you gotta. I'm tell you, you gotta be smart about it too. So, for example, if you're holding on to some bags, something that you're losing quite a bit on,
Hmm.
make the government pay. Make the government pay too. So just sell the bag. Just take the loss and put that against what you got in capital gains. Um, and if you believe in that currency, you can buy it again the next year, but sell it before that year is over, so that you can, instead of just like throwing your tax money away, you can like leverage it against something, and then you can get back into the currency again if you truly believe in it.
Sure.
But taking a loss is okay sometimes, especially if you made a lot and you're about to pay a lot in capital gains. If you take a loss, you can not break it even, but it definitely helps out a lot. And that's something that I learned just through experience. So at the end of the year, I'll definitely purposely take losses. It's
That's a
okay.
that's a great strategy. Great point. I love that. So
That's one of my biggest advice to help you keep more money in your bank. Because I think what a lot of people do is they hold on to the bags, what they're losing on, and then you pay a lot in capital gains. And it's like you might as well just be a little smarter and strategic about it. But I didn't know all of this. I learned all of this through the CPA. He just helped me through all of it. But now I know.
so when the 1 point whatever it is hit your bank account, were you like euphoric? Were you like, oh my god, I'm gonna go buy my car, I'm gonna go buy my house? What was the emotions you were feeling?
It was it. So yeah, like I told you, it was honestly an insane feeling because, like I told you, in late 20 that same month, I saw my earnings on
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
hitting 30K.
Yep.
So, and that's it. I'm seeing that happen. Next thing you know, Bitcoin takes off, and I sell that. So it was just, and then I also hit 100K. So
Mhm.
December 2017 was just a bunch of emotions all mixed into 1 month because everything just came at me.
Mm.
And yeah, it was, I did some dumb things. I went out and bought some things that I regret now. But I think it was just a part of the experience. But yeah, I went and got my car. I went and got a nice watch. It just, it was a, yeah, like you said, it was a euphoric feeling. It was nice.
So I know you were very public with your earnings, and obviously it's on your channel. Did you have people all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork like, "Hey Dante, can I borrow 5K, 10K?" Did you have people like now, it's kind of like if you hit the lottery and everybody comes out the woodwork trying to get money from you?
Not, I don't want to say like everybody, because it's not like a lot of people did it, but it did happen.
Mm,
And it always put me in a weird situation because when people do that and ask for money, it's like when they ask me for $1,000, it's weird saying no because they always give you the tagline, "If you can't pay it, it's okay." Like I completely understand, but it's like I know. I mean, I can pay it. I can pay $1,000, but it's like I don't really just give out money like that.
yeah, right.
And I was in a lot of weird situations when all of this stuff happened. Like I told you, I keep my friend group really small. Like I have best friends that I carry over from places that I lived. And
Mm,
even in college, I had a very small set of friends that I consider best friends, and that I'll hang out with and trust. So I remember all of this stuff started happening, and I think 2018, one of my best friends actually stole from me,
oh wow.
and I think it hurt, but I also knew that this was one of the very few best friends that I have. And I think in my mind, now I'm like, what the hell? But now in my mind, I justified it and I said, you know what? He only stole something that was $100.
Mm,
I'm just gonna get over it and just I just let it go. Then it kept happening. It kept happening, and
wow.
it turned into more. And then that's when I started to like actually get pretty mad because I'm like, why are people like people are really just seeing me as like a check now? But I don't want to make it seem like that's how everybody treated me. It was a
Sure.
very, very, very select few. Um, but other than that, I was never in any hostile situations. Never been in any dangerous situations. I think everybody at my school knew about it.
Wow.
And people would ask me a bunch of questions. I think a majority of the different behavior was people asking me and wanting knowledge about it. So,
Sure.
which I always welcome.
For sure, and that's cool that you're willing to share that knowledge and, in a sense, give back. And I guess it's also for the folks listening that if you do make that significant amount of money, be prepared for situations like that. And especially if you tell your friends and family, they may ask you for money. They may maybe just want to know, okay, how can I invest and how can I make money and things like that.
Exactly.
Interesting. All right. So, what are you holding in your portfolio right now? What's your plan for the next bull cycle?
Yeah. So right now, so I'm a big. I may get some controversial comments on this, but I'm a big believer in Litecoin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people have their own feelings against it. I own about 20, average like 2,100 Litecoin. However, I am down right now total because I got greedy before this Corona stuff happened, and I sold at 68, and then I bought back in at 70. So now I'm holding 2,100 Litecoin at $70. So I'm down right now, but it's okay. But yeah, I have Litecoin, I have Ethereum, I have some Bitcoin, I have XRP, but not much, and that's actually everything that I have right now. My biggest holdings is in, I guess my biggest holdings is in Litecoin and Ethereum.
Cool. I have those in my portfolio, everything you mentioned, and a little bit more. I know, yeah, the crypto community can be very, how should I put it? A very clicky or cultish. Like, my coin is the only best coin and your coin sucks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. But, what we've seen is Bitcoin is kind of the rising tide that lifts all boats. We've seen the alts just follow Bitcoin. And I don't see anything different in the next run up until maybe the market matures some more. So are you planning to just stay with what you have or maybe continue to buy the dips where possible? Or are you just holding back and waiting for the next ride up?
I'm just holding back and waiting for the next ride. I'm up everywhere else. I'm just down in Litecoin right now.
Sure.
Just I was actually not even gonna lie to you. I was a little depressed in March
Oh yeah.
because I watched my portfolio go from a total worth of almost 600K ish to the low 300s, high 200s in a matter of 3 days.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of thoughts going in my head. Like, what if this is as bad as everybody says it is and everything goes to zero and I lose all my money? Do I sell now? But then what if everything goes back up and then I just took a 300, 400K loss? Or, it was just a bunch of emotions and I didn't know what to do because this is where most of my money is. This is where most of my money that I earned, from YouTube and from Bitcoin and from all these things are in. And then, I mean, obviously, I have the money that I have set aside that I make from my engineer job gig, but it was just like I didn't want to touch that money, so I was just a lot of thoughts going in my head.
Sure. I'm gonna say when that market crash happened, and it happened across the board, right? Stocks, everything took a hit. I didn't want to even log in and look at my portfolio. I was like, okay, this we're gonna come out of this. But yes, it was like, oof, oh man,
Yeah, and I was actually really mad because
yeah,
Bitcoin isn't supposed to follow the stock market. And that's why I really I know one of your questions is about um, like Bitcoin going mainstream.
yeah,
And it's like, I mean, cryptocurrency going mainstream. And I like that. I love that cryptocurrency is going mainstream, but it's also bad at the same time because now you have these big whales getting involved
yeah.
in it. And I think that's part of the reason why when the market crashed, we saw cryptocurrency crash as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm just all speculation, but that's just my opinion on it because that should not have happened.
Yeah, some of the research came back because a lot of hedge funds are involved now, and they invest in different things. So if they took like a major loss in stocks, and yet they're up in Bitcoin because depending on their entry point, they cash
Yep.
out their Bitcoin, but that drop, they're dumping essentially to make up
Yep.
losses for their clients and whoever else. So yeah, that's the two-edged sword there with all these big players like your Paul Tudor Jones and so forth getting in. But there's it's weird because there is some causation there, correlation there. But yet Bitcoin sometimes has its own rallies and independent rallies outside of stocks and so forth. But to your point, what we've been talking about is these big players are going to cash out and dump, when other things are not doing well. So on that note, given when you got into market, what's it like to see these big players coming in? And obviously, like you just talked about the negative part of it, but what are your thoughts overall on like Paul Tudor Jones and Fidelity and all these guys getting in?
I think I personally think that is other than the negative aspects. 'Cause I don't only think about the negatives. I definitely see a lot of positives out of it. I definitely see cryptocurrency going a lot higher than it is right now. It's just a question of when.
Sure.
Um, and it makes me just prove the point. And I've been preaching this. You can watch any of my videos from 2017 and up. I've been preaching to people, get in while you can. Stop going out and buying the brand new Jordans or
Yeah.
the latest fashion. Go out there, DoorDash, make some change, throw it into Bitcoin, just make some income that you weren't expecting so you can throw it in there. Super easy to sign up for things like DoorDash, super easy to, just make little money here and there because I think in the next 5, 6 years, even if you only put in $1,000, that $1,000 is going to multiply to a lot more. Of course, don't throw it into any BS coins, but you just gotta. I think that people just need to get in while because we're seeing all the mainstream people get in, and I hope they don't wait till it's too late if they are interested in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. I've been telling folks about it too because you don't want to be part of the dumb money cycle, right? You want to be
Yeah,
getting in when Paul Tudor Jones is getting in. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Which I don't think is nowhere near too late. And then another big advice I have because I do this not every day, but almost every day is I watch crypto YouTube channels like you and others. Um, and you should, I think, as a crypto trader, yourself included, and yourself as a crypto YouTube channel, you should watch other people's videos
Yeah.
and get other opinions.
Yeah.
Even though you may not believe in Litecoin or XRP, I almost said Ripple. I know people hate that. You may not believe in those cryptocurrencies, or you may believe in them. Watch both sides.
Yeah.
Watch why people like them and watch why people don't like them. Get different opinions so that you can make sure, so that you can have a more level set way of thinking about whatever you're thinking about investing into. Like, not only do your research, but also watch people's opinions on it. And what I'll do is I'll type it in on YouTube, and I'll go to the search, and I'll say I want to watch everything from the past week or 24 hours so I can watch the most relevant opinions based off what's going on. And I do that almost every day just to see what's going on. Maybe I'm not investing into it, but I like being aware of everything that's going on and just getting different opinions.
That's a great point. As an investor, you want to be in the know, right? You want to stay educated, on top of what's happening, what are the trends in the market. And to your point, look at a diverse amount of content, not just one person. And sometimes you have confirmation bias with, what you just want to hear, but go outside of your comfort zone a bit and listen to other opinions. That's a great point.
Yeah, you mentioned the whole the click aspect of cryptocurrency. I think what people do a lot, especially like with the XRP community, which I love XRP. But the thing is, I think when you're into XRP, what you'll see is a lot of people will only watch the positive XRP videos.
Yes.
No, don't do that.
Yes.
You gotta watch the bad ones too. You just have to. Like, I'm not saying anything against XRP. I'm a holder of XRP. I have a good amount of money in there. But you gotta watch the bad things about it and why people don't like it too, because they may say something that you didn't even think about.
Yeah.
And that may be a decision making for you. But that's just how you gotta think. You gotta take away. You got to realize that this is your money. If you care about it, you got to take away the bias.
Absolutely in agreement. And I've been trying to tell people about that. Like, hey, Ripple could fail. Just remember that. I'm not saying I want it to fail and I hold XRP, but Ripple could fail and XRP could fail. Bitcoin could fail. But you got to look at everything holistically, and you got to have some sort of cynicism towards what you're holding. Kind of, okay, what's the devil's advocate argument against it, right? And yeah. Great point, man. Love it. All right, let's wrap up with some rapid fire questions here. What's your favorite food?
Seafood. I love lobster and crab legs. I don't eat it much, but I definitely love to get down with some seafood.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Probably the original Spider-Man.
Oh, nice. Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's a big debate too, but yeah, I'm an original fan.
I like that series of Spider-Man as well. That's my favorite. Musician or band?
Musician. I would say Soulja Boy. I like him because he was like one of the first artists to like get on YouTube and like show the social media aspect of creating YouTube videos for his music, and that kind of inspired me to like get on YouTube at such a young age. So he's definitely one of my favorite musicians. I don't know if I like his music too much now, but I definitely admire him just for his culture.
Awesome. I may know the answer to this question. What's your favorite hobby? Is it YouTube, or is there something else that you like to do?
Recently I started yeah, my favorite hobby is YouTube. But other than that, it sounds corny, but I love learning. I like learning. Like, learning is always like something that I feel like I don't know it. Well, I'm never going to know everything. So there's always something new to learn every day. And so just learning somebody else's perspective, whether that be political, financial, just anything, is always like one of my favorite things to do. And then also recently I like working out too. So
awesome.
Quarantine changed me a little bit.
I lied. There's one question I forgot to ask you, and that was Netflix. And we'll wrap it up with this one. How did that come about, where they use your video of you showing your Coinbase account of 1.2 million and all that? Did they contact you? What was the show about? Can you give us the details there?
Yeah, so I got contacted by Netflix um, a little bit after I sold my Bitcoin, a couple months after actually, and they just asked me. Basically, they just told me somebody told me that they saw my video and that they thought it would be great for this idea that they have for their Netflix Explain cryptocurrency series, and they we hopped on. I think it was a Skype call actually, and there was some paperwork I had to sign. I also had to like verify that what I made was true, and all those things, just because they don't want to put out false information
Sure.
on their TV show, right? So I had to verify it, and then I just basically gave permission to for them to use my footage on there. I didn't get paid or anything, but it was just nice for the extra exposure. They like kept my name in there, my title, and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty neat, and it was a pretty great experience. It's always funny because people that know me from like my childhood or from college, I think as Bitcoin is blowing up now, as it's rising now, people are like going back and watching that episode, and so even 2 years later, people are like texting me saying, "Dude, did you know you're on this episode?" Like, oh yeah, dude. But no, it's been pretty neat.
Very cool, man. Daunte, it's a pleasure chatting with you. Learned a lot today, and I'm sure the folks listening as well. And thank you for sharing your experience and the things you've done with your YouTube channel, and as well as investing in crypto. And wish you more success, of course.
Thank you. I want to let everybody know that's watching this. If you have a cryptocurrency YouTube channel or think about starting one, make sure you comment the name down below. I'm going to be looking at all comments of this video. So if you all have any questions for me or Tony, just like ask them down below, and I'll definitely look at everything and answer the questions if I can. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of your content, Tony, and we'll definitely talk more outside of this.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Talk to you later.